Got a 991 that's getting ready to have a coilover system installed, and I'm going to show you guys what this looks like without the suspension installed first, the gaps that normally these vehicles have between the tire and the actual fender, front to rear. We're right at about 2.5 inches. So this one's going to get a full coilover system. The system we're going to run is going to be Ohlins Road and Track, which we're going to modify and install. This is the full kit. This is what it consists of. We have additional lock rings here. Here's extension cables for the rear adjustments. That's going to be installed as well. And they used to not include these in the older kits. That allows you to actually have adjustments from the back. On the fronts, they're located on the bottom. Just about every other manufacturer, or every one of them that we've ever came across, are always at the top for the rear. And on the rear, you'd have to remove the seats. So here we have it. You'll actually have these cables, which are here, stick out in the back, so you can actually adjust very easily without having to disassemble the whole shelf wall in the back. So these are pretty nice coilovers. I run these on my personal vehicle as well. We also are going to preload the suspension, do proper corner balance. Let's get this vehicle on the lift, start disassembling everything. Wheels are off now. We've got to remove the strut bolts here. These nuts that are on each side, we're going to have to remove. This vehicle does not have the PASM system, so that's good. So yeah, the paneling, everything has to come out to do this. One of the rear struts is already in. We had to redo the adjustments. They're never correct when you get them in the box. So we had to make sure everything was lined up perfectly. The heights here matched. We actually had to unscrew the height adjustment tube from this here, from the housing, about two inches, to give us the proper ride height that we are looking for. This is the original one. We got to pull this out to loosen some bolts here and get it out. All right, this one we got to still remove. One more left. This one we're installing. We got the scales and the wheels fully seated on the scales. So now we're going to go back to our computer and see what we got going on. So we're fully seated. That's actually the gap with the new, we're actually going to have much less gap as soon as it settles some more. That's with the coilover suspension, which actually looks really nice. So the most weight is on the rear right. So we're going to have to adjust this. Raise the car up and down several times, and then we have to reload it back on. So we are getting pretty close. As we've seen, the previous one was pretty off. So it's very important that the tables, this is why we have all the adjustments, they have to be completely leveled. If they're not, you can be off by 70 to 80 pounds if diagonally they're uneven or left to right. So it's very important that the tables themselves are very, very, very even. And this is why we're using this particular lift. This is the most accurate area here with the concrete. Even though it still has imperfections, these legs are not all equally adjusted. So very important to properly get this down. A lot of shops don't do this. This is a lot of work. This takes quite a few hours to dial in. The result is non-comparable. The car will handle, it'll be a perfect handling vehicle compared to what it was, because even if we measure out the coilovers, they're still not going to be perfect. We've already done that many times to verify, and we've never had one, even with the really high-end coils, we've never had one to completely be perfect. It's looking nice. Now we're going to unload the suspension and make sure we can get it settled some more, and hopefully we can just be done with it. So here we have it, guys. This is the stance after we lowered the vehicle, corner balanced. Now we're going to set up our alignment system in the back, and we're going to start doing alignment on this vehicle. We got it down about 12 millimeters, so the gap is nice and tight, but it's not a slammed look, so a lot of room still for error. If you install bigger wheels, bigger tires, the car looks amazing. Anything lower than this, you start to run into problems where it's not going to be as dependable as far as handling. This is where you want to have it. Anything below this, you sacrifice preload. There is some adjustments we can still perform on the inside where it sits on the tower here, which is kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can show you. You see the lock there? That ring we can unlock, and we have some adjustability there. But anything from the top, you never want to touch the top section because that's preload. But there's a limitation because it's about 3 to 4, maybe 5 millimeters left before you hit the maximum amount that's allowable. There's like a ring that shows you max out. So you don't want to max anything out. Same thing on the back. We're pretty much maxed out. We're about 27 3/8 from the floor to the fender, and originals were 28 and corner balance now, so the vehicle is going to ride straight. There's going to be a very nice noticeable difference compared to how it was when it was stock. You know, definitely going to be stiffer, but you don't take away from the quality of the ride because the spring setup that we have on this car is actually a very reliable system, and it's probably the best you can get. Ohlins are known to be some of the best suspensions you can get. Of course, K&W is great as well. This is the best looking and non-turbo. Pretty much all our turbo setups on the 996s, Ohlins just feels the best. K&W is nice too, personal preference. The red one over there on the left, that one's running a Ohlins system. Let's look from underneath. We're gonna fix the cambers as well. And yeah, the stance is pretty. So this is what it looks like with a drop suspension, right under an inch. Still looks very stock, but it's way better than it was. Gives it a really nice look. So let's go for a test drive. And again, guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.